The wait is finally over, Buckeye fans. It is finally an Ohio State Buckeyes game day. Anthony Moeglin here with the Buckeyes Roundtable on the Buckeye Breakdown podcast on the floor of Jerry World. Holy cow. This is as good as it gets. And this game tonight is going to be as good as it gets. The number 2 Ohio State Buckeyes versus the number 10 Miami Hurricanes, a game that reminded a lot of folks of 2003. One of the main things that caught my attention this week as we prep for this game and produced a bunch of content for this game, as you're going to start seeing some stuff behind me. Some people are getting here. It looks like the Hurricanes are either here or arriving soon. They're going to be practicing some pregame stuff here. But to me, this game and these two brands together feel like a rivalry. This feels like old school, college football, all the things. This will be the 5th time that these two teams have met, and this one has probably the second most stakes behind that 2003 game. As we dive in here today, a reminder, please get over to Buckeyes Roundtable. Brand new page for us. I hope I'm pointing in the right direction. I want you to go to that QR code. Hit that QR code. It's as easy as it gets. That QR code is going to take you right to Buckeye Roundtable, and you're going to be able to go right to our page. No BS, no nothing. Here we go. Just hit it right now on my phone, and I'll pull it up. I'll show you right here. Bang. There we go on Roundtable, and it loads in, and there you go. There's all of our Ohio State content here this morning. Actually, a story of mine just went live. I know that Brutus face right there just going live here. So hit that QR code, get over to Buckeye Roundtable, follow me, follow the rest of our team, Kevin, Brendan, and all the rest of the crew doing really good work trying to produce some good content for you. But this game specifically has a ton of implications for it. It gets the winner of this one has the right to go to the Fiesta Bowl to take on the winner of Georgia and Ole Miss. This slate of semifinal game or quarterfinal games, is fantastic. Starts tonight with the Buckeyes and the Miami Hurricanes. Gets going again tomorrow with Oregon and Texas Tech at noon. Then the granddaddy of them all, out to the Rose Bowl, which it sounds like the rain's going to miss that, which if you've been following along, unbelievable if the rain's going to miss. If you haven't been following along, I encourage you to get on Twitter, go search it. They're calling for tornadoes, flash floods, all sorts of stuff, but it does look like the sun's going to poke through for game time out in the Rose Bowl. And then 8 o'clock tomorrow night, Georgia versus Ole Miss. I'm certainly squarely in the camp that Georgia's going to boat race Ole Miss because Ole Miss is going to be they're going to look a little bit different the first time against a real team without their coach. But we'll see. All 4 of these games have a lot of intrigue to them. And tonight's game specifically for Buckeye Nation is going to have the attention here because on paper, man, the Ohio State Buckeyes, 9.5-point favorites, the biggest favorite of this quarterfinal round. And they are just so good. Like I've been spending all week long. Like, okay, I even did a segment the other day of like, all right, what would be the reasons why Ohio State wins, and what would be the reason that Ohio State loses? And I can't come up with one. I can't come up with the way that Miami put 60 minutes together on offense, on defense, and on special teams that's good enough to beat this Ohio State team. Ohio State's elite at all levels. But I say that into a camera. We see that on paper. We do that on Twitter and all that stuff. On the turf is where it's going to happen. On the turf is where this game is going to be decided. And the one thing about the Miami Hurricanes is that they are a nasty, nasty bunch. And really the personality of their team starts with their defensive line. It's Ruben Bain Jr., it's Akeem Misador. Combined, those two have 16 sacks on the year. And speaking on Bain Jr. specifically, he's like your prototypical pass rusher, right? Where he's big, 6'4", 275, rushes from both sides, right? So you break the huddle, you immediately got to find, is he on the right? Is he on the left? Who's responsible for him? Is it Phillip? Is it Austin? Is he in the middle? And then when you snap the football, he's got such great hands. That's one of the things that really stood out to me is that if you try to cut him, he'll bury you in the dirt and get his hands up, or he'll go make the tackle on a swing pass. Or if he can go speed to power, he can go just bull rush you. And then he's got that elite bend where he can just get around the edge and win with speed. He's a special pass rusher. And the one thing about those great pass rushers, and it's funny enough, I'm standing here in a stadium, in a spot where we saw it last year. A pass rusher can change the football game. Think Captain Jack Sawyer. Right on this field, Quinn Ewers drops back on 4th down, got a chance to take the lead in a football game, 14-14. Instead, Jack gets him, strip sack, ball out. Jack covers 98 or 89 yards to the crib, and you're like, okay, pass rushers can wreck games. So it's really critical for Ohio State to set the tone early up front. And how are they going to match and how are they going to game plan around those two guys and don't let them be game wreckers? Because if you do that, Miami doesn't have much left. Their secondary's been great. It's been great over the past 5 weeks. Ever since they lost to SMU, that group's only given up 2 passing touchdowns. And frankly, that defense as a whole has been playing elite football, right? They've been giving up 7 points, 10 points, 7 points, 10 points. And you're thinking, and 3 points last week to Texas A&M. But they got to do it against a NFL caliber offense that the Buckeyes bring to the table, and they got to do it for 4 quarters. Because if you take that pass rush away, that secondary is going to struggle. Because if they have to cover for 4, 5, 6 seconds, good luck. You can put prime Deion Sanders back on this field, and he ain't covering Jeremiah Smith for 6 seconds, or Carnell Tate even for 6 seconds. So I think it's really critical that Ohio State starts their game plan with winning the line of scrimmage. This is the world's biggest. This is the biggest thing I ever seen. This is the world's big. I might have to move. Are they taking it? They're going to take this into the end zone. We're going to have to move this back. This is good. This is what they call live TV, folks. This is awesome. This is the big 100-yard American flag. I don't know if that's even patriotic or what, but it's pretty cool. But the truth of the matter is that Ohio State has to win the line of scrimmage, specifically on offense. And then on the defensive side of the football, there's a couple of matchups that I really have my eye on. It starts on that defensive side of the football. The best thing that Miami's offense is going to bring to the table is their rushing attack. Mark Fletcher Jr., an unbelievable story. If you don't know his story, I suggest in the 90 minutes here before kickoff, go Google it. Go look him up. This is a young man who is a Miami kid, very similar to Jeremiah Smith. He was about to commit to Ohio State and then decided at the last second that, hey, he wanted to stay closer to home so that his parents could come to his games, right? Now you would think, his mom's got a deathly fear of flying, okay? So she doesn't get on planes. She drove from Miami last week to Texas A&M. It was like a 48-hour drive instead of like a 2-hour flight, something insane like that. But in his freshman year, Fletcher Jr.'s father passes away. And it's just a really sad story, really heartfelt story. Him and his mom are super tight. She's at every game. She'll be here tonight. I'd be curious to know how long she had to drive to get here, because that's a pretty hike from Miami. But the point is that Mark Fletcher Jr. can be a guy who dictates the tempo of this football game. If Miami's able to run the football, which nobody has except for Texas and except for a little bit of Indiana, nobody's been able to do that on Ohio State. Now, if they can control the tempo and, more importantly, take the stress off of Carson Beck, because if Ohio State's able to take the run completely away and make Carson Beck beat you, that is advantage Buckeyes. We've seen it in both their losses this year against SMU and against Louisville. Carson Beck combined for 6 interceptions, 4 against Louisville, and they were in throw mode. They were trailing all game, and they were in go mode. The weight of the game was on his shoulders, and he wasn't able to come through for him, right? And that is a big thing. And then against SMU, throws 2 interceptions, the second one in overtime to seal the game. And it's like, okay, when the pressure's on, when you put the pressure on Carson Beck to make plays, he's shown in critical situations twice that he doesn't have the wherewithal to do it. So for the Buckeyes, for me, it starts with stopping the run, and maybe even early on, honestly, like take chances in the run game. Come close to the line of scrimmage. If they're going to get the ball out super quick like they've done in the past couple games, great, press the line of scrimmage. If you get beat early, honestly, that's okay, because that gives them the sense of belief that in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter, that they're going to think, hey, we can throw it, and that leads to some potential interception opportunities that the Buckeyes are going to have to capitalize on. So at the start of this thing, for me, it's Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese against this Miami rushing attack, Mark Fletcher Jr. specifically. Can they stop him? What can they do to contain him and put the pressure totally on Carson Beck? Flipping it back to the offensive side of the ball, we hinted at it briefly. The Miami secondary. The Miami secondary in the past 5 weeks has been awesome. They're led in the back end by 2 dudes, Bryce Fitzgerald and Jacoby Thomas. Fitzgerald, a freshman, ball hawk safety. Your prototypical think center field safety, stands in the back, reads the quarterback's eyes, and will go get the football. Why is that so important? Is because Ohio State and Brian Hartline specifically talked about it this week. They know they messed up. They know that they messed up when they had too many tight ends on the field against Indiana. They know that they should have Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith on the field at all times, and they're going to do that. I keep thinking back to last year when Ryan Day kind of put his thumb on the scale of the offensive play calling, took it a little bit away from Chip Kelly. And when he did that, they came out against Tennessee, and it was bombs. 37-yard touchdown to Jeremiah on that first drive against the Volunteers. 50 yards up the seam to Emeka Ibuka, another long Jeremiah touchdown. And then you look to Oregon. Jeremiah, 7 catches, 187, 2 scores against the Oregon Ducks in that Rose Bowl. I think we're going to see a lot more of that. It's going to be less of the conservative, hey, run, pass, and more of, Julian, we need you. We need you to step up. Go make big plays. We're going to give you opportunities to throw the football down the field. When we do that, you have to be accurate. You have to do that. Offensive line got to protect for it, and we got to be able to take shots because, like I said, if Miami cannot generate a pass rush, and we're getting some practice here from the choir, but if Miami can't generate a pass rush, it's going to be almost impossible for them to cover for as long as they're going to need to. And the final thing that I have on my mind in terms of the Buckeyes in this game is protecting the football. You have to protect the football in games like this. The only way, or I guess the anatomy of an upset is turnover. You need turnovers when Ohio State's driving to go score. You need turnovers when they're backed up. You need turnovers at the middle of the field. You need a pick six, a fumble recovery for a touchdown. You need plays like that to not only keep you in the game, but keep you believing that you can hang in this game. If Ohio State just comes out and at the very baseline does their job, this could be like a very boring, ho-hum, business-like effort that we've seen from them, and not very exciting because I think Ohio State's just better, right? If they just do what they're supposed to do, they are just a better football team. The only way that Miami stays in this thing or keeps believing in it, in themselves, is if Ohio State starts shooting themselves in the foot. And I feel very confident that they are prepared to not do that. It's going to be so much fun. Like, this game is going to be awesome. I keep thinking back to the Rose Bowl last year. I keep thinking back to all the playoff games last year. The playoff game in here, I wasn't able to come last year because there was that ice storm that hit in mid-January. But man, you just can't. You get to these spots, and it's special. It's a special time. Only 8 teams left playing meaningful college football. Ohio State, one of them, with the opportunity to go repeat as national champions. And what's the path look like from here? So let's play hypotheticals. Ohio State wins this football game. They go to the Fiesta Bowl, and they take on the winner of Georgia and Ole Miss. And then if they win that game, they go to the national championship in Oregon, in the Orange Bowl. Wow. In the Orange Bowl in Miami against either, let's say, Indiana, Alabama, Oregon, or Texas Tech on that side of the bracket. So that's kind of the path there, and it's going to be a fun one. This is going to be just an unbelievable weekend, or I guess Wednesday and Thursday of college. We'll have no idea what day it is right now. But, yeah, it's going to be sweet, man. And really what I'm looking forward to most in this game is just seeing the atmosphere. That's the other crazy part we've seen this week, is that the ticket prices for these games are so low. I hesitate to say dirt cheap, but they're dirt cheap. $33 to get into this one today. In the 20s to get into the Orange Bowl. In the 20s. There's a conversation to be had about these neutral site environments. But for now, as I stand here on the field at Jerry World, I'm thinking, yeah, this is pretty damn cool. This is pretty sweet. When I was standing outside the building, I was like, get this on a college campus. Now I'm in here. I'm like, this doesn't suck all that bad. But my pick, there's the preview of the game. My pick for the game last night, or I guess this morning, my pick was 24-10 Ohio State. I did say I reserved the right to change that. I am going to change that. I got Ohio State 27, Miami 10. I don't think Miami's going to be able to score much. I think Ohio State's just going to really suffocate them. I'm thinking how an anaconda just chokes their prey out real slow over a lot of time. Nothing special. 3 and out. And then the offensive side, touchdown, field goal, punt, touchdown, field goal, bang. And there's a spread there that looks pretty good in favor of the Ohio State Buckeyes. What's coming your way the rest of the night? Our normal activities here. We'll be back with you live with coaches and players. Coach and Julian, after the game. We're going to go set up the camera after we record this. We're going to get that all going. So we'll have that live on the YouTube channel. And then we'll have all the players on the YouTube channel. They will all be available on Roundtable 2. You'll be able to get to our YouTube channel through there. And then afterwards, Brennan and I will join you. I'll be somewhere on this field. Probably, maybe right here, maybe on the Ohio State side. Depends what happens. Also depends how charged my computer is at the time. Hopefully we got full charge so I can get anywhere I want. But we'll see. We'll be on this field recapping whatever happens behind us. And we're hoping that we're talking about a Fiesta Bowl appearance. But got to do it. You got to get in between these white lines, and you got to go make it happen. Appreciate everybody jumping in and hanging out with me pregame. Make sure you're tapped in and locked in with all things Buckeyes on Buckeyes Roundtable. We got you covered all post-game for recapping, like I said, whatever happens behind us. The Ohio State Buckeyes, the Miami Hurricanes, and the Cotton Bowl Classic. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you after the game.